In St. Tammany Parish, voters could decide in November if a casino resort will be open in Slidell.
So this would be a major development for that area, adding to the quickly growing area. Erica Ferrando has that story.
Amazon, a new grocery store, and possibly a casino are preparing to set up shop in Slidell.
It's growing rapidly.
This grassy field neighboring the Blind Tiger is where developers want to build a $325 million casino and resort if voters approve it.
The competition in general will be really nice, and jobs in the long run.
Also next door is the quickly growing Lakeshore Village neighborhood. Residents we spoke with off camera were not thrilled about having a casino in their backyard, but either way, Mayor Greg Cromer says Slidell is growing.
There's been a lot of interest in us since Amazon put their footprint in the ground.
On Town Center Parkway, trees have been cleared and construction is now underway for the new Amazon Delivery Center. This is expected to create hundreds of jobs in Slidell.
Their goal is to be open in time to deliver Christmas packages out of that facility.
Mayor Cromer believes Slidell is on track to become a major distribution hub.
We're getting 1 or 2 calls per week for these distribution type facilities, and we're working with several different developers now to try to find space.
Other businesses are opening too, like the discount grocery store Aldi, which is set to open in the old Toys R Us building.
Just the development of the desolate area, having people around, the shoppers, that's going to be nice back here.
The economic development organization St. Tammany Corporation predicts a 6% population and job growth rate in East St. Tammany Parish over the next decade. That's more than twice the national growth rates. The projected fastest growing industries are healthcare, transportation, warehousing and distribution, and hospitality and tourism. In Slidell, Erica Ferrando, Eyewitness News.
St. Tammany Parish Council will hold a special meeting next Wednesday. There will be public input on this project before the council votes on whether to allow a parish-wide vote on the proposed casino.